Hi again, and welcome to Weird Writers. Quick note before we jump in, I have been fighting a cold this past week, just getting over it, so if my voice is a little raw, that's why. Today we're going to be starting our film review series, all those movies that have writers in them. You know how that usually goes. Oh, we're stuck on a story. Oh, well, there's a quick montage. Do. And there's your story. Doesn't quite work that way in real life. No. So, the movie we're starting with is one I just caught on Netflix. It's called Playing It Cool. It's got Chris Evans, Michelle Monaghan, Topher Grace. It's got a really good cast. Let's jump right in. This movie is about a screenwriter. He's got the contract and everything to write this specific movie, and he's got a deadline, and he cannot come up with an idea. Poor thing. Yeah, we've all been there, so pretty familiar so far. Unfortunately, again, another note, I cannot show you footage or even pictures because I don't have approval, and I'm still new at this, and I don't know how licensing works. So, I'm going to explain it and possibly show you some pictures on my trusty whiteboard. We'll see how that works out. This movie that he's trying to write is a love story. Oh. And he's trying to write it without resorting to the usual romantic tropes. Now, the reason for this is he's got serious romantic issues in his life, and it's very sad. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, in real life, he meets a girl, falls in love, and there are the tropes he encounters along the way and the subversion thereof. This movie was not bad. I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's good either, though. I would say it's okay. I would say it's a passable time waster of a movie. The cast is good. The cast does a really good job, and of course, after seeing The Avengers and all that stuff, it's nice to see Chris Evans in pretty much anything. He's good. He does a good job. Is he believable as a writer? Well, okay, first of all, he's in shape, and they try to disguise it. They try to play it down, but there's no disguising that, quite frankly. Some writers are in shape. Some of us get out there and we exercise and we do a great job. A lot of us don't. Writing is not a very physical activity. You're less likely to be in shape, so that's less believable. In pretty much everything I'm picking up on here, it's going to be an overall thing. There's going to be an exception to every rule. He's, broken romantically. He meets a girl who's broken romantically. Oh, it's so sweet, but she's going to marry someone else. Now, I'm not going to dig too much into the story itself. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm focusing more on the portrayal of the writer. I will just say that that's where the movie fell a little flat for me. It seemed a little, the two were not believable romantically as a couple. It seemed like very much like, I'm sorry, you seem good together, you have good chemistry, but should you be together? No, the characters just didn't make sense. So, I'll leave it there. My favorite, though, I will say, Topher Grace, his character was, he was so sweet, oh my gosh, he was, okay, he was the sidekick, he was in love with the guy who ran the bookstore, and he went in there every day and talked to him, but he just couldn't bring himself to tell him how he felt, and so that was, that was very sweet, that touched me, okay, so we have, Chris Evans, the writer, struggling to come up with something that's different. And we get a montage. Oh my gosh, do we get a montage? Who knew? It's kind of a realistic montage. That was nice. That was nice. They have him sitting at his desk, trying to come up with ideas. that was nice to see, especially because he couldn't come up with an idea even after the montage. That was very nice. It took almost the whole movie to come up with ideas. So he's got a nice little montage of drumming at the desk and, swiveling around in the chair or whatever, almost sticking pencils up the nose or whatever. He didn't actually stick them up the nose. I was disappointed. I wanted to see that. Okay, so some other things that just bugged me a little. And again, from what writers I know, writers overall, he goes out with friends when he's stuck. He goes out with friends. I mean, he goes to the beach, he goes to the gun range, he goes here, he goes there. It doesn't matter where he goes out. So that at first I was going, eh? It's one of those movies where the main character narrates over part of it and tells you their innermost thoughts and how they operate. And something his character kept doing is he kept explaining how writers do things. Well, I'm a writer, and we do this or we do that, and I'm sitting there going, at least not in my experience. If you have a different experience, by all means, comment, share, let me know. One of the two things that really stuck out to me was, I'm a writer, and what we do is we tend to see ourselves as the character. This proved as an excuse for him to dress up as different people and act out little scenarios. In my personal experience, no. No, that's not, no. The characters are a part of me, but they're not. I give them life, but then they're their own character. And when I picture the story, I picture that character. I'm not picturing myself. I'm not there. I'm not part of the story. Unless this is a specific character that I based on myself, which happens extremely rarely, because that's the point. I'm telling a story, and I figure that these guys are more interesting than me. That's why I'm a writer and not an actor. I know I'm on camera right now. This is a little weird. The second thing that really stuck out to me, when he's out with people, he winds up through trying to search for this gal who he's met once and fallen in love with. He met her at a charity gala. He has no information on her whatsoever, so he ends up going to a whole bunch of charity events, hoping that that's her thing and that he'll run into her again. But in so doing, he runs into a bunch of people and has to explain why he's there, because he's not actually supposed to be there. He snuck in, plot point. He does that. He talks to them. And he talks for quite a while. He instantly just starts making up a story, because that's what writers do. We make up stories. Writers write. We write. Again, this is why we're typically not actors. We may act out our own stories in the privacy of our homes, and God, we are so good at it. We are so good at it. Nobody is ever going to top our own performances, but are we going to share those? No. Especially to a group of people looking at us. There are a few of us who are very good at talking to people. Most of us are not. Writing is a solitary pursuit. And if you're good at that, you're generally not going to be good at interacting with people. It doesn't come with the territory. Here he is, just instantly sliding into this role and making up a story, and he's like, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just making up a story because I'm a writer, and it's just, no. And the thing is that somebody wrote that. Somebody wrote that it was from a screenplay. So their experience is obviously probably different from mine. I would say is different from a lot of other writers. And you're putting that out there in a movie, and you're telling the average person who is not a writer that this is what writers are like. Yeah, that's where I had a bit of an issue. Again, also a bit of an issue with the plot, but you know what? On that, I would say go ahead and watch it yourself and make your own decision. There were very cute bits, there were very charming bits, and like I said, the cast was adorable. Everybody did a great job acting. I had no problem with the acting here, so. But yeah, the script, ironically, in a movie about script writing, the script needed some work. And that's a real shame. That's a real shame, because I love to see movies with writers in them. I love to see movies about writing, because I'm a writer. And that's what I like to see. So again, the movie is Playing It Cool, starring Chris Evans, Michelle Monaghan, Topher Grace, Luke Wilson pops up. Good to see him and stuff. This movie came out in, I believe it was 2014. So pretty recent, didn't get a lot of notice, and by all means, check it out for yourself and form your own opinion. And yeah, leave a comment and let me know what your experience is as a writer. So thanks for sticking around, and again, I hope my voice was clear enough through this whole thing. And we'll see you next week. Bye!